In India, powers under the system of government are distributed to different levels and parts of the state. Political scientists examine the use of power and its distribution in the state. A country's system of government is determined by the power exercised by the central government. Different countries use different types of government systems. In India, the government is currently divided into three main systems: the unitary system, the confederate system, the federal system. Democracy. The word democracy comes from the Greek words demos, meaning people, and kratos, meaning power, so democracy can be thought of as power of the people, a way of governing which depends on the will of the people. Non-democracy. In non-democratic governments, people do not elect their rulers and have no right in decision-making. There is freedom of expression and people enjoy political rights. There is no freedom of expression and people do not enjoy fundamental rights. Unitary system. A unitary system has the highest degree of centralization. In a unitary state, the central government holds all the power. Subnational governments, if they exist at all, do nothing but implement the policies of the national government. In a purely unitary state, the same set of laws applies throughout the nation, without variation. Unitary states create national policy, public strategy, which is then applied uniformly. This uniformity sometimes serves as an advantage because people and businesses know exactly what to expect from the laws, regardless of geographical area. At the same time, to maintain its uniformity, a unitary government should neglect neighborhood contrasts that could call for various principles or strategies. A unitary system of government can be considered to be the opposite of federalism. In federations, the provincial regional governments share powers with the central government as equal actors through a written constitution, to which the consent of both is required to make amendments. This means that the subnational units have a right to existence and powers that cannot be unilaterally changed by the central government. In France, for example, the central government makes virtually all of the decisions. Confederate system. A confederate system sits at the other extreme in terms of centralization. A confederacy is a loose relationship among a number of smaller political units. The vast majority of political power rests with the local governments. The central federal government has very little power. Local governments have a great deal of freedom to act as they wish, but this freedom often leads to conflicts between states and the federal government. In some cases, a confederacy is little more than an alliance between independent states. Federal system. A federal system has a mix of national and state or local governments. The federal government usually trumps local governments in matters of defense and foreign policy, but local governments have a great deal of say over most other policy areas. Sometimes local governments administer national policies, which means that, in practice, the national policy varies a great deal from place to place.